Hello everyone. So today we are going to talk about the Cloud Service Level Agreement, which is also known as SLA. This is a very important concept. So here, when any organization plans to migrate onto the cloud or want to take services from the cloud, they will go into one formal document. It's a kind of agreement that will uh, kind of mentions all kind of condition, the obligations and the legalities which are actually bound by both the parties when they are doing the business. So let's see in detail what exactly is the SLA, and then later we will also see that what is the KPI, that is called key performance indicators. So let's start. So a cloud service label agreement, that is a SLA, is a kind of contract between a cloud provider and an organization. This contract basically specifies what are the responsibilities of each party for maintaining the cloud service. It also defines the metrics which is used to determine whether a cloud service is performing within the acceptable parameters or not. So it's a very formal document which is required when the two entities go into the business. So why are these SLAs are important or necessaries in the business? So these are assumed to be necessary because of following reasons. It basically articulates each party's expectation, uh, means as an organization what they're expecting from the providers in terms of cloud performance, and these agreement basically uh, articulates all the expectation in a very objective terms which can be evaluated using some metrics. It also ensures that each party understand what they need to do and what are the responsibilities for each party when they are into the business. In addition to these SLAs, these service level agreements also contains the key performance indicators that we will discuss in the coming slide. What exactly is the KPIs, which are actually uh, a kind of objective metrics which defines the failure or success of the cloud services. So if we look to the criterias in the cloud service agreement, so the key areas to be included in any cloud SLA, this includes data privacy information, which is very important, especially if the business is to be operated in the European Union. So there is a very specific kind of guidance, or you can say the compliances, which is known as a GDPR, that is a General Data Protection Regulation. So if the business to be handled or to be executed in the European region, then how the data to be dealt within the cloud, that has to be very specifically taken care. So this point must be included in the service level agreement, that how the data has to be dealt with, because recently it has been realized and been found that many companies which are not following the GDPR guidelines, well, actually they have undergone a huge penalty. Then the other point of consideration or the criteria which is to be included in this SLA is a system availability. So we have been discussed that the cloud providers, or you can say they are claiming that they are much reliable. That means they are saying they are reliable up to 99.9999 up to 11 times. So what is the availability of the systems? Means what is the downtime? So when I say reliability, that means the system will always be accessible at any point of time. Means they are claiming that 24 cross 7 they will be available uh, to all the customers. So this must be very much clarified in the agreement, that what is the availability. Then the second is the system performance. So when you say system performance, this is basically, so it's a kind of latency. So this basically includes the latency issues. For example, if there is any web server request, then this response can be given in less than 3 milliseconds or 5 milliseconds. Or if some mail is to be delivered, then it will be delivered to the recipient in at most 2 minutes time. So all these kind of things to be carefully analyzed and then to be mentioned in the service level agreement. Now once it is legally documented, then both the parties must abide by all these terms and conditions. Then the second thing that is important in this agreement is a key performance indicators. So one thing to note here is that SLA is a desired matrix. SLAs are the things which are expected before the two parties are engaging with the business. Means the organization is actually saying that this is expected, and the provider is saying that they are actually bound to provide the services. Then we have a KPI. So KPI are are to be used at the later stage, which actually is a tool that actually used to find out that whatever the services has been claimed by the provider has been fulfilled or not. So we are using some metrics, and this metrics will help to find out the claims of the provider, that the claims have been fulfilled or not, or if it is fulfilled, that up to how much percent they have fulfilled. So these are very important metrics that we see that in the present time, for different kind of business, we have different KPIs are there, and for this we have different types of tools. Tools are also available. So we'll take one case study and see that how these tools are to be used to evaluate these performance issues and the points which are actually mentioned in the SLA. So what exactly is a KPI? So how we define the KPI? So KPI is a key performance indicators that basically measures the success of the organization on the basis of meeting or exceeding the criteria which are established in the SLA, which is a service level agreement. So organizations use the KPIs to evaluate their success at the reaching targets. So what does it mean? It is very important to mention the KPIs. Means you have to mention that what are the metrics, what are the parameters, what are the criteria on which you are going to evaluate these services provided uh, by the cloud providers. So once you have selected your key business metrics, you will want to track them in a real time reporting tool. So the KPI is acting as a tool that will help you to evaluate the services provided by the provider. So KPI management can be done basically using a dashboard. It's a kind of reporting software which are available nowadays. So by using the KPIs, it can give the entire organization a very meaningful insight into the current performance of your organization onto the clouds. So if we talk about some KPI examples, so the KPIs are not a general that is not to be used, or it's not like that there is only one KPI that is to be applicable in all kind of business, because all businesses are of different nature. So obviously we have a different metrics to evaluate all these different services which are offered by the cloud providers. So there are a number of KPI types are there, and based on the business, the business will actually monitor these KPIs. So further also you can say that each department of an organization will actually use this KPI to measure the success, which is basically based on the department specific goals, or you can say the targets. Then let's have a look on the KPI metrics and dashboard. So what exactly these metrics are there, and what kind of dashboards are available nowadays that will help us to evaluate those points which we have mentioned in the SLA. So let us first understand one more time. SLA is a service level agreement. These are the points, that these are the agreement that we have agreed on, and these are the terms and conditions that we have agreed on, and the provider is bound to provide these services. At the same time, the organization who is availing the services need to have undergo some responsibilities, which is also mentioned in the service level agreement. So once this legal document has been prepared, later at stage they need to evaluate that whatever has been accepted by both the parties are are actually fulfilled or not. So how to evaluate all these things? So we need some metrics, we need some tools. So here comes the KPI. So KPI is basically a kind of metrics, it's a kind of tool which actually evaluate that how much or how much percentage the claim that has been mentioned in the service level agreement has been fulfilled. Is it successful or failed in achieving all the claims which has been mentioned in the SLA or not? So let's understand what are the different metrics that we are using in the social media. Like we have different businesses are there. So let us take the case of social media. So what kind of metrics and KPIs are available here? So these metrics and KPIs are basically a values which is used by the digital marketing. So actually this social media marketing is a multi-channel strategy. So marketing team uses Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Pinterest to share the content. In a multi-channel marketing, since the results are spread across multiple accounts, it can be challenging to track the success of of any campaign which is used by the company. So to maximize this marketing effort by the company, it's important to understand the social media performance by tracking the metrics and the KPI on social media dashboard. So how it can be done? Let us look here. So here we understand that how actually the metrics and the KPI dashboards will actually help to evaluate the performance of the campaign that is used by the organization to promote their business. So we have a dashboard, we have social media dashboards are there which allows the marketers to monitor the performance across the social platforms. So using these dashboards, or you can say by collecting and analyzing the social media metrics, uh, it will help us to identify areas of improvement. uh, it will also help to plan the strategic campaign, and these results which are available on the dashboard will help you to engage with the users in a meaningful way. So using these metrics and the KPI dashboard, a company can also track the content engagement metrics, such as number of likes, number of shares, and the number of comment that you have uh, received on any post that the company has made. So by using all these metrics, the company can have insight into whether or not the audience is engaging with your promotional activities, and if the company has identified that if the engagement has a positive impact on the marketing campaign or not. So by these small metrics, the company is able to identify the way the company has to move in order to uh, capture more market, more customer, to enhance their business. So if you talk about the social media marketing campaigns or marketing strategies, the most common metrics and the KPIs which are used. So you can say that the top KPIs for present social media is using uh, something like number of likes and how many engagements are there, how many subscribers are there, and what is the trend of the follower growth in the recent days, and what kind of interaction or comments you are getting based on your promotional activities. It will also help you to understand what is the social sentiment. Based on the sentiments, you can plan your strategy. You can design your promotional campaigns. You can also see that how many visitors are actually converting to your actual customer. So all these kind of metrics are actually used to evaluate or to to enhance your business. So if you look to some of the social media metrics and the KPI, you are familiar with this kind of screens. For example, these are the metrics which are used by many social media, a kind of KPI dashboard where we can see the performance of the promotional activities. For example, if you see on the screen, it says that the Twitter engagement metrics is being shown, that what is the performance of any post that is made on the Twitter, what kind of followers are there, what kind of growth they are expected in the new post compared to the previous post, and what is the trend of the followers they have, uh, the company has got on any promotional activities. Similarly, you can check for Twitter, you can check for Facebook, for Instagram. If you have promoted any promotional activity, then with all these kind of metrics you can plan your business activities, and you can have a very meaningful insight onto the way you are actually promoting your business. So now let's understand what exactly is a social media dashboard. So we have just discussed that dashboard is something which is helping any organization to have to identify the result of the promotional activities. So social media dashboards basically brings together the metrics from platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to display the entire social media marketing performance in a single view. So these dashboards will help the company to check all the promotional activities which they are doing to the different platforms. So they can use this dashboard to compile the performance of all these social media platforms, and can see the customer response on their promotional activities. The company can track the metrics on the social media dashboard and can have a quick access to the insights that will help the company to make a smart data driven marketing strategies and decisions. So why should the company should use these media dashboard? Because it will definitely help them to have a meaningful insight and get the customer response, the trend and that the customer is following, and based on that the company can make the strategies that can help them to provide the better offers to the customer and can survive among the competitors. So how a company can create a social media dashboard to do all this kind of analysis? So before a company can start building a social media dashboard, one must ask certain questions that will help the company to realize what exactly is the need of the dashboard, means what kind of input they can get out of these metrics. So the very first question is, who is the audience for the marketing dashboard? What information do they need? What do they already know about the marketing metrics? What is their level of experience with the marketing data? Now these are very fundamental question. This will These kind of question will help an organization to narrow the scope of the dashboard and can identify the top social media marketing metrics to track. So one must realize that a well-designed social media dashboard will always communicate a clear message. So the company must create the dashboard based on the intended audience. Then only it makes a sense. And at the last, the While creating a dashboard, it must to be kept in mind that one must has to choose the right visualization, and also the dashboard information must be very user friendly and easy to read. Then only you can get meaningful information out of that dashboard. So what are the things that we keep normally on the social media dashboard? So the top social media metrics uh, which are used for data driven marketers, they actually include the number of followers, the content engagement, the reach, the impression, like, comment and shared, how many post clicks are there, what is the average video watch time, and then retweets and mention. All these kind of things are to be used to get a meaningful insight of the customer, and this is done using these media dashboards. So if you look onto these social medias, for example, the Facebook, the Twitter, and Instagram, let us take a case study of YouTube, that how YouTube dashboard can be used to promote the business. So basically, if we talk about the YouTube analytic dashboard, it actually help you to measure the performance of your YouTube channel. So here what we're talking about is that how the dashboard of the YouTube helps to get more insight onto the performance of the promotional activities that the company is doing using this YouTube. So as a business, posting contents on YouTube and then tracking the YouTube analytics is a great way to monitor audience response and the engagement of the customers onto the promotional videos. So there are many metrics which helps to get the customer involvement or the or to check the performance of the promotional activities onto the YouTube. So metrics such as a subscriber, uh, number of likes, number of comments, uh, which is measured across the channel, can provide a huge meaningful information, or you can say it provides a wealth of information on the type of video contains. It will also tell that what exactly your audience like, what makes your audience engaged. So how we can improve this performance? This can be improved by first setting a dashboard. So if you want to improve the performance, we need to have a dashboard there, uh, which help to track the key metrics that can be visualized, help you to get success on your YouTube campaigning. So how actually it works? To make it a meaningful analysis, you need to identify the factors that make most of your successful videos work well. The company need to identify the factors that makes most of their uh, campaigning videos working well, and then they have to apply these insights so that they can able to turn the poor performance into a high performance. So they have to carefully analyze that what are the videos being liked by the viewers, and in which videos they are getting maximum comments, what is the nature of comments, what exactly the viewers are looking for. So for example, if it is found that longer and more detailed videos will result in more engagement of the customers, then the company need to focus on creating the content that basically resonates with the audience. So this is uh, one kind of strategy or analysis that can be done using this YouTube dashboard. So what are the important metrics which are there on the dashboard of the YouTube? So the five top metrics to track in the YouTube dashboards are the number of subscriber, average watch time, average view duration of every video, number of views on the videos, and the engagement in terms of likes, shares and comments. So these are, there are many different metrics are available on the YouTube dashboard, but these are the primary metrics which actually give a very detailed and meaningful insight about the customer liking and disliking, and will give direction to the company to move so that they can be able to grasp and offer more customers to enhance their business and get better revenues in whatever the company business is dealing with. So we have understood what exactly is the SLA. SLA is a kind of formal agreement. It's a formal document that has to be made between the organization and the providers. And then we have KPIs, which is a kind of indicators, which are a sort of metric which is used to evaluate the success or failure of these claims which have been accepted by the two entities. So in the cloud environment, the KPIs, the key performance indicators, and the SLA, the service level agreement criteria that should be included in any organization. The cloud service agreement includes the availability. Uptime means what is the duration the company is claiming to be available. That's a kind of liability. So what kind of liability has been claimed or agreed by the two parties? Mean time between failures. So it is again a kind of link related with the liability, that if there is a kind of failure, then what is that time of revival, how much time it will take to revive. Then mean time to repair is again one of the parameter which is to be considered in the SLA. Then unplanned unavailability means what are the duration that the cloud will be not workable, what are the provisions of the failure, or what kind of backup they are providing. So in case of any disaster, or if any of the data center is not working for any reasons, then what kind of backup and what are the strategies they are providing to keep the business running. So all these things to be taken care and to be specified into the agreement. These are some points which are actually very relevant in the cloud environment to be included in the service level agreement. And the organization which is going into this kind of agreement must also think about how you can realize these in terms of metrics, means how these things can be evaluated. So along with this, before proceeding with the SLA, uh, one need to identify that for these requirement, what will be the metrics, means how we are going to evaluate all these desired things. So this is again one important job uh, at the time of this agreement, that what are the metrics to be used, means what will be the KPIs that will be used to evaluate all these uh, requirement which they have agreed on. So this is all. This is just to understand what exactly is the SLA, which is one of the important document. And then what is the KPI, that also we have understood. So this is all for this lecture. Thank you very much.